I just want her to smile again. That's all Derrick Thompson could think as he stared through the frosty window of Windsor Gifts, a tiny corner store tucked in the heart of downtown Chicago. It was December 2016. Snow was falling hard, blanketing the city in white. 12-year-old Derrick stood alone, clutching a Ziploc bag stuffed with crumpled dollar bills and spare change. He had saved for months. Every quarter from lunch money, every dime from returned soda cans. All for one reason: to buy his mom something special. She deserved it. More than anyone. Nicole Thompson, his mother, was a night shift nurse. She hadn't had a day off in 3 weeks. She smiled less these days, ever since the layoffs hit and rent doubled. But she never complained. Never cried. She made their one-bedroom apartment feel like a home filled with love, warmth, and pancakes on Sundays, even if the power sometimes flickered. This year, Derrick wanted to do more than just say, "Merry Christmas." He wanted to give her hope. Weeks ago, she had paused in front of this very store. There was a snow globe in the window. Inside, a tiny house glowed beneath glittering snowflakes. A mother and son were building a snowman. She whispered, "That's beautiful," before walking away. Derrick never forgot. "Maybe someday," she'd said. Today, he wanted to turn that maybe into now. Inside, Derrick found the globe still on display. He tiptoed to the counter, hands trembling, and placed it gently before the cashier. "That's $21.95, the woman said cheerfully. Derrick opened his bag. He poured out every coin, counted each crumpled dollar. He had $17.43. His heart sank. "I'm sorry, kid," the cashier said gently. "Prices went up last week." Derrick's face fell. He dug through his pockets again. 2 more pennies. Still not enough. I'll come back later," he whispered, picking up the globe slowly. Just as he turned to leave, holding back tears. "Wait, let me take care of that." Derrick froze. The voice was deep, warm, and unfamiliar. He turned. Standing behind him was a man in a long coat, salt and pepper beard, and kind brown eyes. He wore no flashy clothes, no cameras, just presence. "It's for your mom, right?" he asked, kneeling beside Derrick. "Yes, sir," Derrick replied. She really loved it." The man smiled, reached into his wallet, pulled out a crisp $50. "Then let's make sure she gets it." The cashier's eyes widened. She took the money, wrapped the snow globe in tissue, and slid it into a gift bag. "What's your name?" the man asked. "Derrick." "And your mom?" "Nicole." The man paused, then smiled. "Well, Derrick, I think it's time Nicole had the best Christmas ever." He looked around the store. "You mind if I help you pick something else out for her?" Derrick blinked. "Really?" The man nodded. "I've got a soft spot for moms like yours." And just like that, they walked the aisles together, talking about Derrick's life, Nicole's favorite colors, and what kind of music she liked to hum while cooking. It felt unreal. Customers began to whisper. Phones came out. Someone whispered, "Is that?" But the man didn't flinch. He kept his focus on Derrick. They picked out a soft green scarf, the same color as Nicole's eyes. As they approached the register, a few people clapped. One man even called out, "Yo, Mr. Jordan, you're a legend, man." Derrick looked up, confused. "Mr. Jordan?" The man smiled, crouched beside him again. "Just tell your mom it's from you, and from someone who thinks she raised one incredible son." But just as they were about to leave, a sharp voice cut through the crowd. "Excuse me, Mr. Jordan?" A woman stepped forward, late 40s, clipboard, no smile. The man's face shifted, calm, but alert. "Can I have a word?" she asked. Mr. Jordan looked down at Derrick. "Hang tight for a second, okay?" He stepped aside with the woman, speaking in hushed tones. Derrick watched their faces, her serious, his thoughtful. then surprised, then something else, determined. And then Mr. Jordan turned back to Derrick with a spark in his eye. "How about we make this an even better day for your mom?" Derrick blinked. "What do you mean?" Mr. Jordan smiled. "You'll see. But I'm going to need your help." As Derrick steps outside with a stranger who just bought his mom a snow globe, he has no idea that the next 24 hours will turn his world upside down and unlock a dream his mother gave up on long ago. Derrick could barely feel his feet as he followed Mr. Jordan outside into the cold Chicago evening. The snow hadn't let up, but the chill barely registered. He was still holding the bag with the snow globe and scarf, proof that something impossible had just happened. But now, this stranger, this man people clearly knew, was offering to do more. Derrick looked up at him cautiously. "Why are you helping us?" "Because," Mr. Jordan said, opening the door of a sleek black car parked just ahead, "your mom reminds me of someone I used to know. And because sometimes, the right thing is the unexpected thing." The driver, a quiet man in a gray jacket, nodded as they climbed in. No questions. No hesitation. "I should really go home," Derrick said nervously, tightening his grip on the gift bag. "My mom worries if I'm not back by dark." "And we'll get you home soon," Mr. Jordan reassured him. "But I want to show you something first. Just trust me for a few more minutes." Derrick stared at him for a moment. There was no rush, no pressure in the man's voice, only calm warmth. He nodded. "Okay." They drove through neighborhoods Derrick had only seen from the bus window. Rows of brownstones gave way to high-rise buildings lit with golden lights. Eventually, they pulled into a quiet side street near Lincoln Park. Mr. Jordan led Derrick up to the door of a cozy office tucked beneath a law firm. On the door was a name etched in brass: Jordan and Associates Community Trust. Inside, it didn't look like a lawyer's office. There were books, toy baskets, a small coffee bar, and on the wall, a huge mural of kids in capes, flying above a city skyline. Derrick's eyes widened. "Is this yours?" "Built it from scratch," Mr. Jordan replied. "We help families, especially single parents who are just trying to survive." He gestured for Derrick to sit down on a plush couch as he stepped into a side room. A few minutes later, he returned with a manila folder and sat beside him. "I want to ask you something important," he said. "What's your mom's dream?" Derrick blinked. That wasn't the question he expected. Her dream. Mr. Jordan nodded. If she could do anything, no limits, no bills, no fear, what would it be? Derrick thought for a second. A memory bubbled up. He remembered one late night, Nicole folding laundry on the couch, the TV playing softly in the background. She had whispered to herself, not knowing Derrick was still awake. "I always wanted to be a nurse practitioner. Help people, not just treat symptoms. But school's too much. And it's just me now." She wanted to go back to school, Derrick said slowly. She said she wanted to help more people, but she couldn't afford it. Mr. Jordan smiled. "That's all I needed to know." He opened the folder. Inside was a printed brochure for a healthcare program at a respected community college, and a scholarship application already filled out in Nicole Thompson's name. Derrick's mouth dropped open. You're giving her a scholarship?" Mr. Jordan chuckled. "I'm starting her scholarship." He stood and picked up a second folder from a nearby shelf. "And tomorrow, we're delivering it ourselves." As they drove back through the city, Derrick kept staring out the window in stunned silence. He looked down at the gift bag in his lap, the snow globe still gently rattling in its box. "Why are you doing this?" he finally asked. "You don't even know us." Mr. Jordan looked at him with a seriousness Derrick hadn't seen before. "Because somebody helped me when I was just a scared kid. They gave me a chance. And it changed everything." He paused. "You're not just buying your mom a gift. You're reminding her that her dreams still matter. I'm just here to help deliver that reminder." They reached Derrick's apartment just as streetlights blinked on. It was a worn red brick building tucked behind a shuttered convenience store. Mr. Jordan walked Derrick to the front door and crouched down again. You tell her someone kind helped you out with a gift. But don't say too much yet. Just tell her. She's got somewhere to be tomorrow afternoon. Derrick nodded, still barely believing any of this. You're coming too? I'll be there. Right at 2 p.m. You ready to help surprise her? Yeah, Derrick said, the first full smile of the day blooming across his face. I'm ready. Inside, Derrick placed the snow globe and scarf beneath the tiny fake Christmas tree. When Nicole walked through the door hours later, exhausted and smiling despite it all, Derrick didn't say a word. He just handed her the gift. You got this for me? Nicole whispered, holding up the snow globe with watery eyes. How did you? Just, someone helped, Derrick said, fidgeting. And he's coming tomorrow. Nicole blinked. Who's coming? You'll see, he grinned. But you gotta be home at 2 o'clock. As Nicole sits stunned in their tiny apartment, unaware of the man she's about to meet, Derrick begins to realize this isn't just about gifts. It's about rewriting everything his mother thought was lost forever. The next morning arrived with a hush over the city. Fresh snow had fallen during the night, muffling the usual sounds of traffic and shouting neighbors outside Derrick's apartment building. Inside, it was different. Nicole Thompson was anxious and confused. She'd called out of her nursing shift for the day, something she rarely, if ever, did. She'd spent the morning tidying up, brushing down the worn couch cushions, putting on coffee she wasn't going to drink, and asking her son the same question over and over. Who's coming at 2, Derrick? You'll see, he kept saying, a grin barely hidden behind the toast he pretended to nibble. By 1:45 p.m., Nicole was pacing the living room, wearing her best sweater, the burgundy one she reserved for church holidays. Is it someone from school? A social worker? Did something happen? Just wait, Mom, Derrick said with a smile. Please. Then, at 2 p.m. sharp, a knock. Nicole turned to her son, eyebrows raised. Derrick nodded. He ran to open the door, and there he was. Mr. Jordan. Same long coat. Same calm energy. This time, he held a manila envelope in one hand, and a bouquet of white daisies in the other. Nicole's eyes widened, confused. Can I help you? She asked, slowly stepping forward. Ms. Thompson, the man said warmly. I'm Jordan. Your son and I met yesterday. May I come in? She looked at Derrick, who nodded excitedly, then stepped aside to let him in. The moment Mr. Jordan stepped into the modest apartment, he paused to take it all in. The tiny tree in the corner, the stack of textbooks on the table, the signs of hard work, of a life held together with sheer will and love. He handed Nicole the flowers first. For you, he said, because sometimes people who give everything deserve something back. Nicole blinked, still unsure of what was happening. Derrick, what is this? Before her son could answer, Mr. Jordan held out the envelope. You told your son once you wanted to go back to school, he said gently, to become a nurse practitioner. But life got in the way. Nicole's hand flew to her mouth. She didn't remember saying that. Maybe once. A whisper in the dark. Inside, he continued, is your new beginning. With trembling fingers, Nicole opened the envelope. Inside, a completed scholarship application for Lakeview Community College's nursing program. A letter of guaranteed financial sponsorship, books, tuition, fees, and a handwritten note from Mr. Jordan. Nicole, this world needs more women like you in it. Strong, smart, compassionate. You've raised an incredible son. Let me help you reclaim your dream. No strings, just belief. Jordan. Nicole couldn't speak. She sank slowly into the chair, eyes wide with disbelief. Is this real? She whispered. Very real, he said. And all made possible because your son believes in you. She turned to Derrick. You did this? Derrick just nodded. His own eyes were full now. I just wanted you to smile again. Nicole threw her arms around him, the note still clutched in her hand. They cried there together, quiet tears in a quiet room, while the snow fell softly outside. But as the emotion began to settle, Mr. Jordan glanced at his watch and stood. "There's one more thing." Nicole looked up. "More." He reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a small flash drive. "You said you needed a laptop to take online courses. This will help." He placed it gently on the table. "A delivery will arrive here tomorrow morning. Laptop, study software, even a new desk." Nicole looked stunned. "I don't understand why you're doing this," she said again, trying to collect herself. "Why us?" Mr. Jordan crouched beside her, just like he had with Derrick. "Because I see you. You work, you sacrifice, you give everything for your son. And sometimes, the people who are always holding everyone else up need someone to hold them." But just as Mr. Jordan stood to leave, a loud knock sounded at the door again. This one was different. Sharp, aggressive. Nicole stiffened. "Are you expecting someone else?" Mr. Jordan asked. "No." Derrick moved toward the door, but Mr. Jordan gently stopped him. "Let me." He opened the door. Outside stood two men in dark overcoats and gloves, stern, tall, and not smiling. "Mr. Jordan?" one asked, scanning the room behind him. "That's me." The other man stepped forward. "We need to speak with you. Privately." What secret was Mr. Jordan hiding? Why were these men looking for him? And how would it impact Derrick and Nicole, just as their lives were starting to change? Mr. Jordan stepped outside, closing the door softly behind him. Nicole rushed to the window, pulling back the faded curtain just enough to glimpse what was happening on the landing. Two men, suits, cold expressions, and Mr. Jordan, standing calm. But she saw it now. His jaw was tighter, his posture rigid. Inside, Derrick looked worried. "Mom, who are they?" Nicole didn't answer. Her heart pounded like it hadn't in years. She knew danger when she saw it. And that wasn't a friendly visit. She pulled Derrick close, listening. Outside, the words were muffled, but fragments slipped in. "You weren't supposed to make contact again. There's a warrant out for her. She deserves a second chance, not your crusade." Mr. Jordan's voice was calm but firm, unshaken, until she heard it. "You'll regret this if you bring it to her door." Nicole's breath caught. What had she just let into her home? Suddenly, the front door opened. Mr. Jordan walked back in, his expression unreadable. "Everything's fine," he said quietly. "Just some people from my past who don't like that I've stepped back into the public." "Stepped back from what?" Nicole asked, standing now, her arms crossed protectively in front of Derrick. Jordan took a breath. Then, finally, he said, "I used to work in government. High-level compliance for Child Protective Services. I started this foundation after I walked away, but not everyone liked how I did it." He looked at her. "Some powerful people wanted me to stay silent." "Why?" she asked, eyes narrowing. Mr. Jordan hesitated. Then his gaze dropped to Derrick. "Because I uncovered things. About the foster system, the schooling pipelines, families like yours being quietly buried." Nicole's heart twisted. She had seen it, lived it. "So why us?" she asked again. "What's this really about?" Mr. Jordan met her eyes. "Because your son reminded me of a boy I couldn't save, and I promised I wouldn't fail the next one." Silence. Nicole's throat tightened. Then, softly, she said, "Is this going to put my son in danger?" Jordan shook his head slowly. "No, never." He crouched down in front of Derrick again. "I gave you my word, and I keep my word, even when it costs me." That night, Nicole barely slept. After Derrick went to bed, she sat by the snow globe on the shelf, watching glitter swirl inside like a storm captured in silence. A scholarship, a laptop, A stranger who made her feel seen for the first time in years. But also, mystery, risk, a quiet war she didn't understand. She flipped open the scholarship folder and traced her name on the form. It was real. All of it. But was it safe? Was it worth it? She didn't have the answer. Not yet. The next day arrived with a hum in the air. A courier dropped off a sleek box. Laptop, software, even noise-canceling headphones. Nicole stared at the setup now on their tiny kitchen table like it was a spaceship. "This is mine," she whispered. "All yours," Derrick grinned. "Now you can go to school like you wanted." But even as she smiled back, there was tension in her chest. Not fear. Not exactly. Just the weight of trust. That evening, just after sunset, a knock came at the door again. Derrick rushed to open it. It wasn't Mr. Jordan this time. It was the tall man from yesterday, the more serious one. No coat today, just a plain suit. He looked different, tired. "Ms. Thompson?" he asked gently. "May I come in? I promise. I'm not here to cause trouble." Nicole hesitated, then slowly nodded. He stepped inside and glanced at Derrick. "Mind if we talk alone for a minute?" "Whatever you want to say to me," Nicole said, folding her arms. "You can say in front of my son." The man nodded. "Fair enough." He took a breath. "My name's Marshall. I used to be Jordan's partner in the agency. What he's doing now, it's noble. But the people he exposed, they don't forgive." He reached into his bag and pulled out a document, laying it gently on the table. Nicole scanned the headline. "Fraud. System failure. Families lost." Underneath, the names of dozens of affected families. Families like hers. "He's trying to protect people," Marshall said, "but he's also walking on fire." Nicole's eyes filled. "And us? Me and Derrick? We just wanted to survive." Marshall leaned in. "Then let us help you the right way." Nicole is caught in a decision between two worlds. Accept help from a man with a dangerous past, or walk away and leave the dream behind. But a file on her table holds more than paperwork. It holds a secret about Derrick that even she didn't know. Nicole stared at the file Marshall had placed on her table. Her fingers hovered above the cover like it might burn her. "What's in there?" she asked softly, almost afraid of the answer. Marshall leaned back, his voice measured but intense. "Proof of how your son was flagged, quietly, by a state algorithm. Not because of anything he did, but because of your income level, your housing, your job schedule." Nicole froze. "What do you mean flagged?" "There's a hidden system," Marshall said, "used in parts of Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. It predicts at-risk families for state intervention." He paused, then added, "You and Derrick were flagged 2 years ago. They just hadn't come knocking yet." Nicole's breath caught. She felt the world tilt slightly beneath her. She remembered that unannounced visit from a social worker last spring. The odd questions. The way they looked around the apartment like they were checking boxes. It hadn't felt random then. And now, she knew it wasn't. "So what are you saying?" she asked, her voice low, trembling. "That they were going to take my son?" Marshall didn't answer directly. He simply looked her in the eyes and said, "Jordan saved your family long before you knew he existed." Nicole turned to Derrick, sitting quietly at the kitchen table, coloring in the corner of a wrinkled notebook. Her heart shattered all over again. How close had they come to losing everything? That night, Nicole sat alone after Derrick had gone to bed. She stared at the snow globe on the shelf, watching the glitter swirl once more, only now it looked more like a storm than magic. This was bigger than her scholarship, bigger than school. This was about survival. She pulled the file back toward her and began reading, page by page. There were transcripts of internal emails, lists of families removed, codes that assigned numbers to risk levels. And then, her name, her address, Derrick's school file. Noted with a yellow alert flag. Low-income single mother. Unstable work hours. Educational neglect risk. Moderate. Tears ran silently down her cheeks. She had done everything right. Everything. And still, they had marked her. Nicole slammed the file shut and stood up, her body shaking. She didn't know what tomorrow would bring. But she knew one thing. She wasn't just going to take a scholarship. She was going to fight. The next day, Mr. Jordan returned. Nicole opened the door before he even knocked. He looked tired, but still carried that quiet dignity in his step. She stepped aside and let him in. No words at first. Just a long silence between them as she handed him the file Marshall left behind. He opened it, saw what had been exposed, and nodded. "I hoped you'd never have to see this," he said quietly. "But now you know." "Why didn't you tell me?" Nicole asked. "Because you didn't need fear. You needed hope first." He closed the file and looked at her. "But now, we need both." She didn't blink. "Then tell me what to do next." Jordan placed a small recording device on the table. "We go public." Nicole raised an eyebrow. "Like the news?" "Bigger," Jordan said. "Live stream. Evidence. Data. Your story." Nicole looked hesitant. "And what if they retaliate?" Jordan looked at her with a calm, serious gaze. "They already planned to." That evening, Derrick walked into the living room to find his mother sitting at the table with Jordan, a mic clipped to her sweater, a webcam facing her, and the snow globe sitting right beside it. She looked at Derrick and smiled. "Come here, baby," she said. He walked over and sat beside her. "We're going to tell our story now." He looked up, uncertain. "To who?" Nicole squeezed his hand. "To everyone." As Nicole and Derrick go live, their story begins to spread like wildfire. But what they don't know is that someone high up in the system has already started pulling strings to silence them. And this time, the cost might be more than just a scholarship. The live stream began quietly. Just Nicole, Derrick, a borrowed mic, a cracked laptop camera. No production, no filters, just truth. Nicole's voice shook at first, but as she read from the documents, her son's flagged report, the secret risk algorithm, the visits masked as check-ins, her confidence grew. She didn't ask for pity. She demanded accountability. Derrick sat beside her, holding the snow globe in his hands like it anchored him to something bigger than all of this. "I didn't even know they were watching us," Nicole said into the camera. "But now I do. And I won't stay silent." By the time the stream ended, comments were pouring in. Thousands. Parents, teachers, social workers, survivors, all echoing the same words. "This happened to me too. I thought I was alone. Thank you for speaking out." Within 48 hours, the video had 1.3 million views. It wasn't the algorithm that made it go viral. It was the truth. But with attention came retaliation. Emails started arriving. Cold, official ones. Demands for clarification. Threats about slander. Then suddenly, Nicole's cleaning job suspended her. No explanation. Derrick's school requested an updated home visit. Again. She called Mr. Jordan. "They're coming for me again." "Then we get louder," he said. What happened next shocked even Nicole. A local journalist, drawn in by the live stream, dug deeper. They uncovered similar cases. 26 families flagged under the same predictive model. All single parents. All Black or Latino. All marked without their knowledge. The story hit national headlines. Mother exposes hidden system targeting poor families. Her son's gift started it all. TV crews came. Nicole's inbox flooded with interview requests. But she declined them all. Instead, she returned to her books. To her dream. To her son. "I didn't do this for fame," she told Jordan. "I did this to stay free." 3 months later, Nicole sat at a podium, her scholarship program nearing completion. delivering a talk to other mothers. Behind her was the same snow globe, now cracked slightly but still whole, sitting beside a small sign that read, "Hope isn't given, it's fought for." She had become more than a student. She had become a symbol. And Derrick? He never let go of the day he met Mr. Jordan. He wrote an essay about it titled, "The Day a Stranger Didn't Walk Away." That essay won a statewide award. He stood on stage, dressed in a too-big suit, and ended his speech with this: "People say magic isn't real, but I saw it. Not the kind in books. The kind where someone notices you when the world wants to erase you. The kind where a snow globe and a stranger gave me my mom back." Life lesson. Sometimes the greatest gifts aren't wrapped in paper. Sometimes they come disguised as struggle, loss, or even a stranger's helping hand. But when someone believes in you, really believes in you, the ripple can change your world. Nicole and Derrick didn't just survive. They lit a fire that helped hundreds of other families step into the light. And it all started with a boy, a snow globe, and a stranger who chose not to look away.